Welcome to VCR, Vintage Cinema Rewind, bringing old movies to new viewers. I'm Blake.
And we still have not been found by the secret police, so hopefully, maybe we should talk about that actually.
Sure, we're gonna dive right into the 1968 movie Z from France, Algeria. This is the deep dive, and spoilers full ahead. If you haven't seen this movie, it's awesome, and you should go check it out before we talk spoilers. Also, very, very, very movie about our times, even though it was made 60 years ago.
Yeah, because fascism will always come back.
Yes.
We all it's almost like whack-a-mole.
I was going to say like Palpatine, but...
Somehow fascism returned. Yeah. Maybe we should talk. So this whole idea of like the secret police comes up a lot, right? Because it's historically a lot of fascist regimes will employ like... something like that. You might even make the comparison nowadays to like ICE if you want.
Yeah.
That's right, I said it. So one thing that kind of struck me about this movie was how it presented the secret police in that the state just seems to employ thugs to do their dirty work.
Okay, so this is a really interesting point to discuss to start in our discussion of this movie because yes, in a way, but I actually think it's way more sinister than that.
Okay, tell me what I'll tell you what my interpretation was, and then you can tell me.
Sure.
Well, my interpretation is essentially just, so when the state needs something taken care of, they'll just employ these brutes to do it for them, right?
Right.
These brutes who are just after a paycheck, who are just going to do what they're told without thinking about the larger ramifications. It almost seemed to me like a presentation of like the banality of evil, right?
Yep.
And I'm not saying that in a dismissive way. I wasn't like, oh, look at these idiots, right? I was kind of like, oh, the state can just do that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
These unlicensed yahoos with clubs who will go club an enemy politician in the back of the head.
So here's why I think this is actually way deeper, like going way deeper than your read on it. So the two guys who you're talking about, the two main political assassins of Z, are Iago and Vago, and as this movie kind of explores and peels back the layers of how they were employed for this, they were part of a French right-wing party called CROC, C-R-O-C.
That's right.
The English translation of CROC, the full party name was the Royalist Soldiers of the Christian West, or the Christian Royalist Organization Against Communism. And so this is like a far-right like militia group that was underground and kind of run it, like, you know, compare it to the Proud Boys, compare it to like whatever far right party that you've got right now run around North America. Basically, like, essentially there's these two guys who are just kind of part of this group, and the leader of this group is commissioned by the military leader of this unnamed but Greek country, and they're just like hired to go assassinate the deputy, who's a leftist political leader. And I actually think that that's far more interesting, and I kind of blew my mind when this whole like plot thread kind of unraveled, because I was like, wow, there's this far right extremist group that the government in this country hasn't condoned, because it's really easy to get them to just go and do their dirty work,
right? And it's a real stand back and stand by kind of moment.
Yeah,
right?
And it creates like this level of deniability of like, well, you know, like these guys aren't great, and like, oh, obviously I wouldn't allow this to happen, like, wouldn't condone this, but like, you know, they're just whatever kind of thing. And I actually found this super interesting, because that they chose Iago and Vago specifically for this role, because like you kind of mentioned, they're kind of just a couple of useful idiots, right?
Useful idiots.
And I think that that's something that this movie goes out of its way to present to us, that these two characters are not like these two super genius like assassins, would-be assassins, whatever, that they're like, you know, the driver Iago is essentially like, he's kind of a dummy. He's just like openly, before he murders this guy, he's just like bragging to people, because he's like, well, what are you gonna do about it if I find out that, or if I get arrested, I'm gonna know, because I'm bragging to you that you're the one who turned me in. So like, you're like, I get to do whatever I want because I've been chosen to murder this guy.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not a career criminal, despite what you may have heard. If I were standing there next to Iago, I'd be like, Iago, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, I've never killed anyone, but I'm pretty sure we shouldn't be running our mouths about it.
Right. Yeah. And then Vago on the opposite side is like one of the most evil human beings that has been portrayed on screen. Like, not only is he the murderer, and not only does he get pure joy out of beating leftists who are trying to advertise the deputy's speech, like instantly from the crowd, like he appears in the first act of the movie like right away, and instantly I locked onto him and I was like, oh, this is a scary guy.
You know who he kind of reminded me of?
Who?
Sonny from The Godfather.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
And he's at one point interrogated, and they're like, oh, you've been arrested before for, oh, let's look down the list, right? He's like, oh, aggravated assault, and you raped a boy, and this and that and the other thing. And it's like, wow, like this person is a really, really dark human being.
Yeah.
And also, like, he's clearly, he's on this part of this far right group. And he's willing to carry out their dirty work, and he also like doesn't care about consequences at all.
You know what he does care about though? Being called a communist.
Yeah,
that's the only time he really reacts in the movie.
Right.
They're like, "Are you a communist?" He's like, "Whoa!" And he stands up like.
Well, yeah. And he's like, he's so quintessential, like this kind of person who is clearly like, like they talk about how he raped a boy and like.
And he's so dismissive about it too.
Yeah,
he doesn't even really deny it.
Yeah, well, and there's an implication like when after he leaves the newspaper that he's gonna like hook up with this boy who's playing on the arcade.
Yeah,
and so like there's this like energy about him that he's like this repressed gay man, but in like the I'm going to just lash out and hurt people kind of way, like this like really, really dark presentation that like I feel like probably exists to some extent about like with these repressed people, because like I don't have anything against gay people, but like
no,
I like there's this kind of like thing on the right where you just repress like
there's a certain stereotype about the closeted gay man who turns to fascism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just violence if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. So I just found his character having so many layers. The other reason why I found these characters like so interesting to dissect and think about is Iago bringing up the fact that he can't afford the payments on his car, and then this becoming like a kind of a little mini narrative thread of the film. And I don't know if you picked up on that or not.
Well, I noticed he says he can't afford the payments on his car, and then like a couple scenes later, his car breaks down.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Well, but he mentions it a few times, and that got me thinking as well, right? That, like, this is a society in which things are so expensive that, like, people can't afford anything. Like, people are living in essentially impoverished conditions, and yet this guy who's living under the regime who's created this system, because it's not the lefts who are in power here, right? It's the right extremists who are essentially in power, just not like maybe announcing their presence as much as later in this film.
Let's call them nascent fascists, right? They haven't quite seized power yet.
Yeah, and so it's this guy who's been radicalized because he's because of the cost of living and all of this stuff, but it's actually the people who he is like fighting for who are actually controlling this oppressive system.
Right, and if we can just really bury the lead here, again, we're going to be a little political on this episode because it comes with the territory. Like,
yeah,
and you're talking about disadvantaged people who are now aligned themselves with the people who are oppressing them. Like, wow, again, like, I'm glad we really figured that out and no one has ever gone down that path ever again, right? Yeah, like, it's just, ugh.
This is a movie that you leave kind of feeling angry because you're kind of like, have we learned nothing?
I have to say, this is one of the biggest downer endings I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Don't get me wrong. I actually was kind of like, oh, right? Like,
yeah.
It's sort of
even more downer than Army of Shadows.
Kinda, yeah. Like
Army of Shadows is sad, and this movie is an angry ending.
Right, and I mean, maybe we can just jump ahead and...
Sure.
As a writer myself, I was particularly blown away by it, because imagine if in Return of the Jedi, when they're all partying, because they redeemed Darth Vader and they killed the Emperor, they're all partying with the Ewoks, blah, blah, blah. If a title card then came up and was like, the Empire retaliated and killed all of them.
Yeah, everybody died. There was no justice served. The people who committed these crimes got off with light sentences, and also we cracked down on like basically anything fun or
All the Ewoks are dead.
yes.
Every last one of them.
It's what a wild ending.
I think part of the reason it hit me so hard is because, well, just one, I've never seen a movie do that before. Where,
Yeah.
Again, it's like it's happy.
It kind of has like its quick hurrah moment where you're like, oh my god, like things are gonna work out, and then it's like, oh no.
Well, they really commit to making you believe that things are gonna work out because there's a whole sequence where the magistrate brings in all 4 of these high-ranking generals and charges them all with murder and serves them papers.
Yeah.
And there's a really funny moment where he's like, hey, if you want to avoid the press, there's that door right there.
Right.
But it's locked.
Yeah.
So they have to go through the press.
Yeah,
right?
it's really great.
And you get to see all 4 of them get humiliated and really flustered and angry. It goes on for at least 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's a real feeling of like catharsis and triumph,
Yeah.
right? Where you're just like, we did it. We got him, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, never mind. Like,
yeah,
the fascists took over. All the charges were dropped. Everything was terrible.
Yeah, and then it just lists off everything that was banned.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have that list here. It's, no, I don't.
I have it. It's long hair, miniskirts, sophicies, Tolstoy, Euripides, Russian-style toast, strikes, a bunch more political or philosophical people, freedom of the press, sociology, Beckett, modern music, pop music, new math, and the letter Z, which means he lives in ancient Greek.
Heartbreaking, by the way. Yeah, like just, by the way, I would, as a writer myself, I would love to be banned by a regime. Come at me. I won't consider myself arrived until that happens. But again, I've never seen a movie do that before where like you get your happy ending and then it's almost like a secret 4th act where you're like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, and it's worth noting that this movie was made when Greece was still under the junta or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The empire, essentially.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I like this movie was so political when it came out that like France was kind of like, do we let this happen?
I know. Again, it really just ties into just how scary things are right now, right? Like, such a random tangent, but a few years ago, back in 2022, I had a tendonitis flare up. So I was seeing a physiotherapist, and around that same time, Putin had invaded the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in this gym running through these exercises with my trainer, and we're both just watching the footage on the TV. And I remember my trainer just said, like, you know, we were just talking about what was going on, and my trainer was all like, well, you know, it's like, how are you supposed to play chess against an opponent who keeps flipping the board over?
Right.
And it's kind of like, and yeah, that's kind of the central ethos of this movie in some ways, where it's like, how do you hold someone to justice who can literally just absolve himself or rewrite the rules on a whim?
Yeah, and I mean, I love so much of this movie, and one thing that I really love that this movie focuses in on is one of the witnesses who comes forward.
I loved that guy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters.
Yes. And so he comes forward because he thinks it's the right thing to do. He thinks it's the noble thing. And in most times, this guy would be celebrated for being the person who came forward to do this triumphant thing and, you know, naming the people who killed him. And, you know, the whole system is essentially like,
no, like, we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they're like, they basically are like, what you saw didn't happen. He wasn't hit, even though you saw him be hit by the guy by the club.
Right. And there's even a doctor being like, no, that looks like a blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody hit him.
Right. And they're like, the guy who said that, like, that you weren't told that somebody was going to get murdered. And by the way, because you're still not going to cooperate with us, let's have your family come in and all complain to you about the fact that we're gonna like lose our cushy spots in the government if you continue on this path.
Right. Because his brother-in-law is like a Nazi official, I guess.
Yeah,
not a Nazi, but essentially a Nazi. Totally random, but there's a scene where like he's in his hospital bed and his mom had brought him lunch and she's trying to convince him to back down and stop rabble-rousing.
Right.
My girlfriend Sarah pointed out, she's like, is he eating 4 pears? Is that all he's eating? And I looked, I'm like, oh yeah, like he's straight up eating 4 pears.
Very Greek thing to do.
Yeah, I guess actually. Those wacky Greeks. But well, you know, I kind of liked this character because it almost kind of felt like I wouldn't say the movie paused, but like the movie does take its time to let us kind of get to know this guy a little. And like he's what, like 40s, still lives with his mom. Like he's got a weird relationship with his, not weird, like a contentious relationship with his younger sister. He's like a varnish painter for furniture and shit.
Yep.
And, you know, there is kind of this stuff being on where they're like, well, you're screwing everything up by coming forward. And also, like, you know, there's kind of this sense, like, you know, it kind of gave me some empathy for, like, I don't want to say the common man, but, like, if you are living under an oppressive regime, like, you probably are heavily incentivized from not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You probably are heavily incentivized to not speak out. Like, your family is probably like, hey, don't speak out against this guy because you're going to get you're going to get bonked on the head a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and what's so fascinating about all of this as well is like how blatantly obvious all of it is. Like, it's not like they're really trying to hide a whole lot. I mean, they send Vago to go and assassinate him in the hospital.
Hilarious, by the way.
And and they don't even think about the fact that like somebody might be in the room. They don't like check first. They just like let the guy walk in, and the reporter who's like walked in the front door is like just there.
He's just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like the reporter chases him down.
Yeah,
right?
it's great. Yeah.
Which and again, I hate to keep being political, but like especially with all the shit that's been going on in the last 8 months with a certain island, the Jedi mind tricks that they'll try to play on you, which are so transparently false. You're like, what is this? It's like you don't even care enough to lie. You know? Like, you don't even care enough to make this convincing.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
100%.
There's so many different moments where, like, even the opening assassination where, like, it looked like it was probably just a hit and run. And it's like, no, that guy was clubbed in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's genuinely wild.
You could say there is something almost chilling about a regime that's so all-powerful that they don't even care enough to conceal what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just like, ugh.
I mean, it happens all the time. Look about all those Russians falling out of windows all the time.
Yeah,
like,
right.
They really should put, like, a safety lock on those things.
Those clumsy Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I heard about some academic who was implicated in the Epstein files. He's like, I was just there for fundraising. It's like, oh, sure you were, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to just talk about dissecting this movie.
Should we talk about the journalist? Because I liked him more than I thought. Here's my take on the journalist.
Yep.
He didn't seem like a great guy.
Obviously.
No, he didn't seem like a great guy. And yet, there's something to be said where, you know, when it comes to regimes that are this all-powerful and this oppressive, even a little shithead like that can still actually do some good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this movie has a really complicated relationship with the news media and, like, reporters, and I think that that's completely fine. I actually think that's more interesting than making them the heroes, right? Because he's like there's a point in time, and we need to talk about the deputy's wife at some point, because I actually think that is a really interesting point of discussion even there. But there's a really interesting point where right after he's announced dead, that the news reporter shows up in her hotel room and like barges in and is like taking pictures of her and asking questions and like not giving a single F about like
her obvious despair.
Yeah. Like, this woman is devastated. And he's so grimy and gross about what he's doing, right? And up to that point in time, you're like, oh, like maybe this is the hero. Like maybe this is the good guy of this story. And it's like, oh.
No, it's Nightcrawler.
Yeah. It's Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Well, on that note, should we talk about the deputy's wife? Because I wouldn't say that I was numb or cold. It's not to say I wasn't emotionally involved with this movie.
Yep.
But her scenes were the real kind of. I felt her scenes were effective because they really showed like the human cost of what was going on.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like it wasn't the deputies. It made the deputy's murder more than just a plot device.
Yes.
It actually was like, oh, like this this was a real guy with a wife, and
he wasn't perfect. Like, he wasn't Jesus. Like, he cheated on her. He was kind of like, you know, like they had a complex relationship. Like, this guy was not a complete saint. And
well, there's that great scene early on where someone's like, "How's your wife?" He's like, "Oh, you know, it's not perfect. We've grown pretty distant." Anyways,
yeah,
I'm just like, oh,
yeah. I mean, it really paints that this is a complex human being. that's in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like, and her being a central character in a point in time in this movie, it's just kind of, she's inserted at the best possible time, because you've got, we think that this movie is about the left, and like the left overcoming this oppressive regime, and you think that this movie is about the right and how they quash down, and then she appears and it's like, no, there's a human element to this too, right? Like,
Yeah.
she, despite everything happening, like, she's obviously crushed, and the people around her, like, both sides just don't care at all about her.
No, certainly not. I agree. This movie is so fast and propulsive too. Like you said,
Yeah.
that her scenes really got to me because the movie just kind of. I respect that the movie had enough restraint to just kind of slow down for a minute
Yeah.
and let us just take in her grief.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also think that it also kind of is a bit of a critique even on the left of, like, this man just died and you guys are kind of celebrating his martyrdom and like what this means for your party. And at the end of the day, like, again, this is just a woman who's left to grieve alone, essentially, for her husband, and not for this, like, otherworldly being, essentially.
Yeah, I guess, right? Like it's pretty fucked up. So
Yeah.
maybe we should talk about the press a little more.
Can I actually say one more thing about her character before we move on from her?
Sure.
I think that this movie really smartly comes back to her at the end of the film.
That's right.
When they celebrate the arrests of all of the military leaders. And what I really like about that moment is again, the left party is all celebrating. They're like, "Oh, his death wasn't for nothing," and like, this is going to
we
come
got
from this.
him.
Yeah, and again, you see that, like, that her distraught, and like all of these feelings coming back to her of her husband being murdered. And I think that this captures, like, something very unique about grief, and it's this emotion that, when someone close passes away, like someone close to you, and you're allowed to grieve to a point in time, but then the world kind of starts to move on without that person, and even maybe without you if you're not willing to kind of move on from that grief. And that's a really uncomfortable feeling, and I think probably everyone has experienced that at some point in their life, and this movie really captures that in a way that I don't think I've seen before.
Yeah, there is sort of a sense of like I like that scene too cuz everybody's kind of celebrating and she's just standing there silently. It's
Yeah.
sort of it's almost kind of like they're all like, "Oh, well he didn't die for nothing." And she's like, "Yeah, but my husband's still fucking dead." So,
Yeah.
like, but no, I'm glad you guys are happy that you got to use his death for your own ends. But thanks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely one thing I did kind of want to talk about mentioning the press is there is this kind of interesting moment where Vago,
Mhm.
the charismatic one, he sort of has like an in with one of the newspapers.
Yeah.
And he's actually like dictating how stories are going to be told. And
He's
like,
bragging. He's like, "Oh, I was the one who hit the guy."
right, right. But then he comes back later and he's like, "You need to take that out because I'm going to be arrested." And
Yeah.
the press man is just like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I almost kind of want to. Part of the reason I want to watch this movie again is because how it portrays the press.
Mhm.
Because it's a very complicated relationship for
Yes.
sure, right? But you're absolutely right. I did like how this movie isn't fully I wouldn't say it's not obviously this is a leftist kind of movie. I mean, I think if you're attacking fascists, you're inherently taking a leftist position. But
I would hope not. I feel like people, like, I don't want to paint people into corners necessarily.
yeah,
Like,
maybe that is a dumb thing for me to say actually. But
I don't know. I just on that note, like, like, this is what I was talking about in the primer, where I was saying, like, democracy is just constantly under attack, and it comes to all of us to, like, recognize that and fight for our rights to democracy in general.
yeah.
Because I wouldn't necessarily say the witness is necessarily, like, a hardcore lefty or anything. Like, it doesn't even get into a lot of politics of each individual person.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Maybe I'll rephrase. What I was trying to say is I do like that this movie isn't totally sympathetic towards the leftist cause.
yeah,
I mean, perhaps it's sympathetic, but it shows that they are just fallible human beings and
Yeah.
their approach is often flawed or incorrect.
Right. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And that is something that we live with on a daily basis, watching left parties bumble their way through situations that feel like slam dunks.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, get it together.
What else do you want to talk about?
Let me think about that for a second. I feel like we're kind of all over the place.
We are all over the place.
I think I talked about all the money shots that I wanted to mention, though.
We missed one money shot.
Get me.
And the one money shot that I actually, again, I don't know if I've ever seen it quite like this before, is the car chase scene.
Yeah.
Extremely well shot, extremely anxiety inducing. Jess didn't really watch this movie with me. She doesn't usually watch a lot of the subtitled movies with me, and so she was half paying attention, and that scene she was fully alert for that, because it is, again, one of the most gripping thriller aspects of this film is the guy being run down in the middle of the street, who's one of the leaders of the leftist group, who's going to essentially plead his case to the magistrate. And just in broad daylight, this car just like chases him through the streets and like.
Again, it's funny how the regime doesn't care enough to conceal what they're doing.
Not at all.
Yeah. That's kind of that's the guy with like kind of, he's sort of got like a hawk face.
Yeah.
He's kind of got like a chiseled jaw.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. He's straight up just walking and it's
it's a really, really great scene.
Yeah, it's very. I was laughing a little just for the sheer, like, why don't you just shoot him? But again, like, it's just like, there's just like something so careless.
It's about sending a message, Michael.
Yeah, it's not about money. It's about sending a message.
You know what we didn't even mention that I absolutely love about this movie is how often it just gaslights like every single character. Like when the witness is walking to go talk to the magistrate and a van pulls up and like bonks him on the head and leaves him there, and everyone walks up and they're like, "Oh man, you definitely shouldn't have been walking there. Like, looks like you had a bad fall."
Oh yeah.
And they're just like gaslighting the hell out of him. He's like, "Did nobody just see that I got hit?" And they're like, "Nah, you're crazy, man.
No, you hit your head harder than we thought.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
It's wild. It's
hilarious.
So wild. Yeah,
just fucking hilarious. That said, if I've just suffered blunt force trauma and a bunch of strangers are telling me that I didn't actually get attacked, part of me might be like, maybe I didn't get attacked.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more to dive into. The one other thing that I want to talk about is right after the deputy is pronounced dead, or not even right after, like as they're doing all the surgeries and like there's all the back and forth about, well, he hit his head, no he didn't, and like, you know, discrediting literally doctors about what, you know, their profession.
That poor doctor, like literally with the x-ray, like
and he's like so nervous because, like, you know, you say the wrong thing and these people will take you out back and shoot you.
Yeah.
But what I found really interesting about this is how quickly this becomes about narrative. Like there's like genuinely no interest in exploring whether this character is going to live or not, or like how can we get the best people here to help him. It's like, how do we spin this to make it look like it was an accident? Like truth, justice, completely irrelevant.
Yeah, and slightly kind of branching off that topic, one of the things that I found most sort of, I guess you could say, chilling is how there are authorities in this movie. They're just often ineffectual, or like they actually refuse to help, right?
Yeah.
Like there's during the big moment at the end of the first act where the deputy is giving his speech, we see a bunch of like cops waving their batons around very phallically, I might add. But when all this like commotion is breaking out, they're very plainly refuse to intervene.
Yeah.
Even they sort of catch one of the thugs after, you know, they got the magistrate, and they almost kind of like, it's weird. It's these two cops kind of catch them like, "Oh, where's your papers? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I see you've got that club tucked into your jacket." But
yeah.
like, even I couldn't tell. I'm like, are these guys in the pocket of the fascists, or are they just kind of bad at their jobs? But like,
they're kind of just grunts, and they almost like don't know how to deal with this situation. Like, this
Well,
is in over their heads.
Kinda, yeah, because they sort of pull him away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, aren't you gonna cuff him? Like,
Right.
that guy's dangerous.
Yeah,
Like,
there's like a well, and part of it's because Iago is so like nonchalant about it. Like, oh man, like
well, and he's literally like, I got a date, I gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't know that I could talk my way out of an arrest by saying I have a hot date, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe, I've never tried, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that really, or even there's that big fight at the beginning where like all the protesters just get into a fight with the other
And
protesters.
Vago's just like kicking ass. Yeah.
Oh, like literally kicking ass.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend just kept calling him the kicker the whole movie.
Nice.
Like he's just kicking people in the butt the whole movie.
Yeah.
But and again, like no authorities, nobody steps in. Like it really just in some sense it almost kind of weird comparison. It almost kind of reminded me of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where it's like civilization is completely broken down and like the authorities do not give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably, if anything, like on the side of the people committing violence.
Yeah, exactly. So I found that quite interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and even just talking kind of on this note as well, the fact that there's that whistleblower in the first act who's like, the deputy is going to be assassinated. And, you know, they go out of their way to try to talk to the proper channels and say like, well, the deputy is going to be assassinated and you guys aren't letting us meet in a group place that would host the number of people who want to come to this protest, and you know, you're putting us in a very dangerous situation. And they're basically like, nah, what are you talking about?
Come on, man.
Yeah, and they put them, and I found that really interesting that, you know, they put them in this situation where it's very easy for things to boil over, right? Like they put them in a very small hall that's right across from the hotel that they're in, so they have to walk. They just like, oh, they're just like, oh, you just walk across the road and then you'll be where you need to be. And it's like, and it's like, well, yeah, but now you've created this whole large space where anything can happen. And that's on purpose, obviously.
Yeah, well, there's even that small scene towards the beginning where the one leftist guy they were supposed to do it at this theater, but the theater owner is kicking them out because of pressure from the top. And he's just trying to reason with this guy, and they're talking in the street, and then, you know, what's his butt? The theater owner sees what is very clearly a secret agent, just a guy in a suit reading a magazine, and he's basically just like, oh, get out of here. Like, yeah, go on, scram. So, yeah.
Well, and I love how these useful idiots are portrayed and also used, because it feels so on the nose, because, you know, we see one of the leftists get attacked and like carried away and nothing really comes of it, right?
Nope.
Like they take him away, and then these idiots are like, wait, we got the wrong guy.
Oh, yeah. That might have been the most horrific moment to me, where they beat a guy up. He's bleeding from the head.
Yeah.
He gets pulled into an ambulance. They literally chase down the ambulance, like pull him out, and they're like, oh, this is the wrong guy. And they just chuck him in the street to die.
Yeah.
Like, just something about, there's kind of that lingering wide shot of that guy, like, just sprawled out in the street. And they're like, oh, wrong guy.
Yeah.
Wrong guy, everybody. Come on, let's go get him. Yeah.
Let's do this again right this time.
All right. Let's try this again.
Yeah. Man, this movie is wild.
Again, I feel like I owe it a second watch just because so much happens in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a ride.
Such a ride. I also wrote that I love that the witness does his shirt as soon as the reporter shows up to get pictures like shirtless. Did you notice that?
I did like how the witness is a little bit of a shithead.
Yeah.
Like the journalist wants to take a photo with like his little, what do you call that? Like that thing they give you for headaches, like the little.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, the like whoopee cushion kind of thing.
The whoopee cushion for headaches.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about. He tries to like put it on his head. He's like, no, don't put it on my head. It looks ugly. He's like, no, we have to. It'll make you look like vulnerable or something, right?
Right.
So, yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, that character, the only other things that I wrote about that character that I did want to mention is like, he genuinely doesn't realize until it's too late that the people in charge are not his friends. And
No.
the danger of his position.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like it's actually a little scary. Like I genuinely felt scared for this character because I didn't know what was going to happen to him.
Well, yeah. And again, I liked that this movie cared enough about this random character to like they gave us enough details about him and his life that you're like, I kind of don't want this guy to die.
Yeah. He's probably the most sympathetic character in the whole movie, honestly.
Maybe I found
second
most sympathetic, but
Yeah.
yeah. Just this dumbass who's in over his head.
Yeah. I think that's everything that I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I thought we'd have more to talk about in front of the camera, but there's again, this is a movie that demands second and third watches.
Absolutely agree.
So
Like I will be coming back to this one. I mean, there's just almost too much.
maybe
to dive into,
if we're
fan-wise.
still doing this podcast in 10 years, we'll do a follow-up episode on it.
We'll do another episode on this in like 5 years, and we'll have Jason watch it as well, so that we get like first time viewing versus second, third time, fourth time viewing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch. I'm coming back.
I'll be on second time viewing. You'll be on like fourth or fifth time viewing. Jason will be on half time viewing because he'll probably only pay attention to half of it.
This is a tough movie to get like not lock in on.
I'm just kidding. We love Jason, friend of the podcast, Jason.
But yeah, no, man, this movie is so good. Sequels, prequels, reboots. This is actually based on a 1967 novel by a Greek novelist named Vasilis Vasilikos.
Once again, we're doing our best here.
Yeah. Greek writer, diplomat. I believe he worked in the UN or something like that. He is actually the 9th most translated modern Greek author, which is kind of neat. Yeah. So like you said, like we've talked about, this movie is based on true events that happened to the assassination of Grigoris Lambrakis, who was attacked, struck on the head. Like, it keeps it pretty true to what actually happened. And then eventually the generals, the military junta, taking control of Greece in 1967. And the letter Z being this anti-political symbol that existed as well during this time. And the fact that they banned the letter Z is wild.
Yeah.
Especially in Greece, man. That's like every other letter.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Actually, the magistrate. So the character, the magistrate, was based on Christos Zarzetakis, who actually eventually became the president of the country in 1985.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Oliver Stone said that this movie is the basis for JFK that he made in 1991.
Cool.
I haven't seen that movie yet, and I've heard really, really good things about it. So I kind of need to see it now.
The only Oliver Stone movie I think I've ever seen is Platoon, and to be honest, I was kind of lukewarm on it. But...
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it was. I really like that movie, but it's a hard watch.
Yeah.
I kind of, like I said, I've heard really good things about it. It's a Kevin Costner movie. I imagine that it has kind of that same propulsion, political, like a Zodiac kind of style to it. That kind of sucks me in. Like I love these kind of movies.
I also just this is totally random, but as a writer myself, I just like it when like renowned filmmakers or writers or directors will just be like, yeah, I wanted to make something like that, and they'll just point out something else.
Yeah.
I just like the transparency of that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. What I find really interesting about all of this connection to JFK is the fact that JFK was murdered months before what happened in Greece here, and his assassination kind of had some similarities from a political aspect on each side of the Atlantic Ocean. And so there's kind of this connection in real life as well as these connection between these two movies.
I have to reveal cards on the table in the interest of transparency. I know shockingly little about the Kennedy assassination. I read the Stephen King book about it, but that's That kind of barely goes into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know very, very little about it.
I mean, I don't know as much about it as I know about the Titanic sinking, but
right. Yeah,
I know a decent amount.
I guess if I want to get into like the magic bullet theory, there's probably hours and hours of Joe Rogan I can listen to. But
do you want my like 30-second?
Yeah. Hit
theory.
Me. I'm keeping this in the episode, by the way.
Okay.
So take your time.
Here's my 30 seconds. My opinion that has probably no basis, but I think that I can't remember the dude's name who shot him.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. So okay. So here's my theory, and I've seen the like extended video where his head gets like actually blown off, and it's really gross.
Kennedy or
Kennedy.
Okay.
So here, my crazy conspiracy theory is that I can't even remember his name again. What you said,
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald did shoot him the initial time. And then the second bullet was actually an accident by the Secret Service, who accidentally turned around and shot him in the head, and blew his head off. So, and it like Pulp Fiction kind of style.
Wait. Okay, take me through that again. So so Lee Harvey Oswald shot him.
Yeah.
But then the second bullet was the Secret Service.
Yes,
who
by
also
accident.
Shot him.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was shot twice. The second time's where his head's blown way off.
Okay.
Already probably dead by then. Super unfortunate accident. That I'm not explaining why I believe this.
Okay. By the way, hilarious. By the way, I might use that in a book someday. Like two assassins tripping over each other, trying to assassinate the same guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying the Secret Service was trying to assassinate one or another. That my theory just goes onto like practically what I think happened, and like I said, I don't want to elaborate on any of that because I haven't thought about JFK in like a decade.
We will not be taking questions.
Anyway. Also remade in 2012 as an Indian Hindi film called Shanghai, has decent ratings. I might check it out.
We should watch more Bollywood.
We should. Like RRR, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah. Effects and filming. This movie was mostly shot in Algiers, believe it or not, because the reporter in this movie was also the producer, and he was really pushing for it to be shot in Algiers for reasons.
Okay.
So all of the actors did their own stunts in this movie, including the fight scene on the car.
Hilarious.
Which is, yeah, I mean, it's really cool. They did not have a lot of money to make this movie, which does not show at all because this movie absolutely rocks.
You're kind of surprised when you find out how cheap it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like guerrilla filmmaking, kind of like Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which just came out.
Blake, I will see it at some point, okay?
Shout out to our Canadian local film, which is doing real big right now.
Blake has been trying to get me to watch this movie for a long time.
It's so funny.
Okay.
It's so funny.
I'll watch it.
So the x-rays that they used were actually another patients, like a real patient's x-rays,
cool.
Who had similar head trauma experience to Z in real life. When the officers enter the hospital to confront the witness, they actually just used footsteps of Nazis.
Oh.
They just like clipped that in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good.
Just like one of those like, deep cuts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, love it. Scored by Mikis Theodorakis, who very prominent Greek composer, actually was a very big opposition to the junta and was exiled for a period of time. He was jailed by them, like very, very vocally against them while they were in power. So really cool that he was able to, stick it to them during this time period because, like you said, this movie is made during the middle of their
I
reign.
guess that's an important thing to consider is that when this movie came out, they were still under occupation.
Yeah.
They would have been under occupation for like what, another 5 or 6 or 7 more years?
It's honestly a little bit comparable to like when the Chernobyl miniseries came out in like 2019 or 2020, and it was like, Ukraine had already been messed around with a little bit, and we weren't quite at the point where full invasion, but we were getting there.
We were building to it.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Daddy Vladdy was on it.
Pretty wild in general.
By the way, Putin, just in case he's listening, like, as one bald guy to another, just fucking cut it off. Come on.
You're totally gonna get like, I don't know, whatever those poison pill things is in public one of these days.
All right. Well, maybe it'll be a similar thing to JFK where like two different administrations are trying to kill me and they both kill me at the same time.
Again, not my theory, but look back at the times. So this was actually a film that, like I said, very controversial when it came out. The Black Panther Party in the States actually did underground screenings of this movie when it came out. They got a
Cool.
print of the film, and it was shown in advance of it being released at the United Front Against Fascism conference.
Wow, that sounds like a cool conference.
Yeah.
I'd love to be there.
When do you think this was first aired on American television?
Oh, wow. Okay. This came out in 69.
Yes.
I'm going to just ballpark it at the 80s.
No, 74.
Oh,
So
okay.
it took 5 years, though.
Isn't 74 when the junta was lifted, though?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Legacy of this movie, so nominated for 5 Oscars. Can you name the 5 Oscars it was nominated for? We know Best Picture, Best Foreign Language Film.
Okay, so I got 3 more. So
Yep.
Best Picture, Best Foreign Language.
Yep.
Best Cinematography,
No.
Best Editing.
Yes.
Okay. Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yep.
Okay, so there's just one more,
One
and
more.
it's not Best Cinematography. Best Sound Design.
Best Director.
Okay, that makes sense.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal to be nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Film Editing. Like for a foreign film in 1969, that's how big of a movie this was back
Yeah,
then. That's how
holy
big
balls.
this movie should still be, in my
Mhm,
opinion, because it's
mhm.
freaking awesome. So it won Best Foreign Language Film because back then you weren't going to win a movie if you weren't in English and made in America. Also won Best Film Editing. Absolutely deserves that.
By the way, sorry to cut you off.
Yep.
Best quote of the movie is, "If you don't know what to do, just blame the Americans."
Oh, that's great. So this movie lost to Midnight Cowboy in 1970, which tough loss. I've actually seen Midnight Cowboy. It was okay.
Is it good?
It's not bad.
Is it about a cowboy?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It's starring oh god, why am I blanking? It stars Dustin Hoffman and John Voight, and they're 2 dudes who are actually gay for each other, and it's like actually very subtle movie. And it's
Wait,
an R-rated film. It's actually the only X-rated movie to be to win Best Picture.
You tell me there's a movie out there with Dustin Hoffman and John Voight where they're kind of gay for each other,
Yes,
and it won Best
but in a
Picture.
very subtle way.
Okay, I might have to. I'm curious.
I was curious too.
Maybe we'll do. Okay, we're about to snap back to American movies.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be our 4-way back into Hollywood.
Yeah, I just watched it last year, and I don't know if I'm that interested in going back and watching it.
Okay, maybe
Like it was fine. It was like a 7 out of 10.
that'll be my.
It was a good 7 out
That'll
of
be
10.
my private viewing.
Yeah. I mean, it has the famous scene where Dustin Hoffman's like, "Hey, I'm whacking here."
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, anyway, nominated. That was the one that won Best Picture. Again, kind of a tough loss. If those 2 movies came out and were nominated for Best Picture in 2025, I guarantee you that Z wins all day, every day. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that this movie isn't more well known.
Yeah.
That said, though, I think it's more known than you might think. Like, it's still popping off on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great, and I love that for this movie, but I just wish that it had a little bit more recognition, like streaming-wise. Like, it's just a movie that...
It's hard to get.
Yeah,
right? Like,
and it shouldn't be.
No, like I had to download I didn't even realize Criterion Channel had an app.
Yeah.
So I literally just started a free trial, watched it, and was like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to get.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate and possibly by design, because it's a pretty inflammatory movie. So other kind of big feats of this movie: first film to be nominated for Best Film and Best Foreign Language Film. Again, there's maybe 7-8 movies that have that have that recognition.
Sure.
Also, the second movie ever to be nominated for Best Picture as a non-English film.
Okay, so it has a pedigree to it.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
we found our way
genuinely.
to it.
Yeah, and the first time that happened was in 1937 for Le Grand Illusion.
Okay, cool.
Personal reviews on the partner factor.
You first.
I think this is a genuine masterpiece. Every single level. I can't wait to watch it again. This might be a top 20 film for me now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't think this cracked my top 100 quite, but
What?
I did enjoy it quite a bit. My partner Sarah really, really liked it. I think she even liked it more than I did.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean,
Her and I have similar movie tastes, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Because we famously like what was the one movie that? Oh, the French movie.
Oh,
Perry the Fool.
Yeah, you guys both really liked it, and
Yeah.
I just maybe that's actually. It's like me and Jess and you and Sarah have similar sensibilities.
Yeah.
So it's a good chance if I like it, Jess will like it, and there's a good chance if Sarah likes it, you'll like it. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm. Yeah, no, I genuinely like was kind of floored this whole movie, and like sitting up straight the whole time, and like kind of angry and like kind of excited because it was so good, and like I've been just talking about it nonstop for the last few days since I've seen it. There's a few people that I talk movies with, like outside of this podcast.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
Ugh.
And I'm really excited to see them next and be like, you need to watch this movie because it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this movie so much. I think this is so cool, and I really hope that we can shine a light on this one, because genuinely I think that everybody should see this.
Especially now.
Especially right now.
2026, it's required viewing.
Absolutely required viewing.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've talked about this before on this podcast about the differences between international cinema and American cinema. And American cinema often does the like walks this line of like being the protesty film, and like at the end giving you a warm hug, like it's gonna be all right kind of thing.
But it's empty.
Yeah,
it's empty calories.
Well, and it's also like I've heard recently, and this one isn't the first time I've heard this, but I've heard this from a few different people now, and coming from different areas of the internet. People say of like, you know, if you expect that your media to do the protesting for you, you've already lost, essentially.
Yeah.
And like, you know, some big billion-dollar Hollywood industry isn't going to pump out a movie like this, and that's where like international cinema does not give a fuck.
I know, right? This movie is very much a rallying cry.
Yeah.
Like after watching this movie, I was like, oh wow, like there are bad people in power, and we need to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Holy balls.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic. Like masterpiece.
Yeah.
Masterpiece.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. And that's it. That's the end of our Oscar series. We did a full year of foreign movies. That's wild.
Sure. Wow, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Holy balls.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, our viewers didn't totally turn their backs on us.
Yeah.
Our viewership.
It's nice to see all like 10 of you still listening. Thank you.
We appreciate every one of you.
Yeah. I kind of am enjoying this, and I kind of want to maybe continue on this path. However, what I'll say is like last year around this time, we did get a movie recommendation from one of our listeners, and it was right around this time where we had to we just felt like everything crazy going on. We needed to pivot maybe away from American movies. I kind of feel like this may be the time, you know, we've done our year. Let's do one for the fans, you know?
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys are listening, we're taking recommendations, and then I don't know, maybe going forward, I don't know that we have to, well, you know, to those listening, maybe sound off what you'd like to see more of. Mm-hmm. Like there's a few kind of classic American movies I wouldn't mind just revisiting or doing an episode on. But like what has been interesting about this kind of foreign movie thing that we've done is I've seen movies I never would have seen otherwise. Yeah. Right.
Oh, like yeah. And movies like that I hadn't even heard of before.
Like Water for Chocolate, for instance.
Yeah.
I was like, like that enriched my life. You know, I was like watching this movie enriched my soul. Yeah. You know, because I never would have seen it before.
Same thing with like Army of Shadows. Like I guarantee you, if we weren't doing this podcast and we weren't doing foreign movies, I would have never seen that movie, and it's one of my favorites of all time now.
Right. I was cheated because there was no Bruce Campbell, but that's besides the point. So I don't know. Maybe we'll ask the viewers what they'd like from us, and also, I don't know. Maybe we don't have to pivot too far one way or the other. Maybe we just go where the energy is.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't mind doing more Canadian movies, actually. I think the Canadian movies we've done recently, like, you know, the Cronenberg movies, The Sweet Hereafter, of course, Last Night, which is one of my favorite movies. Those have probably been my favorite episodes. So, you know.
I'm pitching you new movie, and it's very Canadian. when Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie comes to streaming, let's do a new movie and let's do like a big Canadian movie because this is like an important Canadian movie coming out.
Okay, I'm down. Let's do it.
Cool. I do have one like foreign movie that I know that we're gonna get to because it's Tarkovsky. I got on a Tarkovsky
the Russian guy
band. In the last year, watching a lot of these foreign movies, and I really, really want to do Stalker with you.
Okay, let's do Stalker. Yeah, let's stalk each other.
Yeah. Okay. But that one we're gonna have to wait maybe until the summer because that's like a almost 3-hour movie and there's a lot happening and
it's gonna be a big. That's gonna be a jump up.
It's
so
a big movie.
I'm gonna make you edit it.
Yeah. I also kind of want to try to get Jason into that movie or to be in that podcast because I think it is a 3-person discussion. And also I think that he'll like it a little bit more than you.
Right. This is Blake privately told me recently there's a movie he wants to get Jason back in on because he wants to do a 3-person episode because he thinks Jason will like it and he thinks I won't like it.
I just think you're gonna. I don't know. I found it like I was absorbed by it, like completely absorbed. But when you kind of like think about it, it's like, well, not a lot happened, but also then you think about it and you're like, but wait, that's the point.
That's okay.
Yeah.
See, I bounce off most of those movies, but every so often I'm like, oh, interesting.
And it's got one of the main characters, one of the central characters to it is a like writer who has like this deep complex of like this internal struggle that he has, and it's very writery.
Oh, so I won't be able to relate at all. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So anyway, great episode. Had a lot of fun watching this movie. Had a lot of fun the last year. We'll see where the next year takes us.
Hey, 2026, baby.
Yeah.
Hopefully the horrors cease, but we won't.
Yeah,
because we are ceaseless.
Okay.
Goodbye.